Hello, divine, beautiful souls. This is Energy Speaks Podcast with your host, Katriel. This season, we are traveling, embarking on the Zodiac Energy Empowerment Series. And we are now at week of Taurus in the podcast part. And I have a very, very special guest, our practitioner online slash in person, hint, for the Taurus class for the series. Her name is Lisa Bromfield. She is not new to Energy Speaks podcast, but she is an energy healer. She is a Reiki master teacher, a psychic, and spiritual mentor. Welcome back, Lisa.
It's so good to be here, Katriel. Thank you so much for having me.
Mer.
Mer,
So for our viewers that may have not listened to any podcasts in the past with us, I would love for us to go a little bit deeper on how you even became who you are. Where you've you know, I mean, energy healer, Reiki master teacher, psychic, spiritual mentor. Where did it all begin?
that's a great question. I truly believe that we always have a catalyst in our life that is going to launch us into our spiritual awakening. In 2013, my best friend, my partner of 10 years, left me for somebody else. I looked in the mirror and I said, something has to change. I was invited to a brunch with a bunch of women, and the hostess gifted us a psychic medium who was there to do readings on all of us. And I knew in that moment that she was my teacher. For the next 3 years, I began to study A Course in Miracles. I began to meditate, journal, and I began to build my spiritual toolkit and go through my healing process. Within 2 to 3 years, I tapped into my psychic abilities. In 2018, I went to work. I had a very nice job in Phoenix in sales, and my job was eliminated. And I had been doing this work on the side, and it was clear that it was time for me to step into doing this work full time. Shortly after being let go, I was led to build a shamanic drum with a shaman and a medicine woman in Casa Grande, Arizona. And I use that drum to this day in my healings with different clients that come to me in person. My gifts came to me through meditation and through going deeper and really discovering who I am. And it's been an ongoing process of evolving and healing and just opening up to different things that have come to me. I knew at one point when I was in Phoenix that I wanted to get into Reiki, but I couldn't find a teacher. So I moved to Florida, and one of my groups, little did I know, one of the people attending one of my groups was a Reiki master teacher, and she would become my teacher. And
Mm.
so in July of 2023, I was attuned to Reiki master teacher, and just so absolutely tickled pink to be doing this work as well as doing the work with my private clients all over the world.
Mm. I love that. It lately I've been thinking about Reiki. I haven't thought about Reiki in a while. My mentor, she passed away. She was also my mentor with the Orasoma. Um, and she oversaw my because she was mentoring someone else in Reiki. So they're the ones that actually attuned me for Reiki 1. Later on, I ended up uh actually going back for Reiki 1 again, which was a completely, I mean, it was weird because it was funny because I think at a third generation, and I went to a seventh generation, or I would have
Mhm.
been the seventh generation. I was like, this is interesting. I'm like, because you can feel different things within the
Mhm.
lineage. But
Mhm.
I never actually got attuned to Reiki 2. And that's
Mhm.
something that has, I figured whenever that happens, that's awesome. Because I also, you know, I connect with energy healing, and there's not just one modality.
Mhm. Mhm.
But I would love if you can share some wisdom from the lineage of the Asui.
Yeah.
Um, I would love for, if you could share, like, what
Yeah.
is the
Yeah, the whole lineage. It's very, very interesting. And I'm a very traditional teacher.
Mhm,
So when people come to me, Hawayo Takata was one who brought Reiki from Japan to the United States in 1937.
mm,
And she has channeled through me before, and she's just a beautiful soul. And um, she believed that the first degree is all you need. The first degree is about healing yourself. When you get
mm,
attuned to the second degree, now you can do distance work, you can treat others, and you can treat animals. But the first degree is about you. That's where the transformation occurs.
mm.
The history is very rich in the fact that Dr. Asui went up Mount Kurama, and for 21 days he fasted and meditated.
Wow,
And then his third eye was hit by the light, and the Reiki symbols came to him. And then the four miracles as he went down the mountain, he healed the stub toe on himself. And he felt the healing power of Reiki come through his hands, right? He
wow,
ate a full meal when he got to the bottom. Now, after you fast, you eat lightly. He ate a full meal and he had no problem with it. That was one of the miracles. He healed the tooth of a woman who was serving him. And he did Reiki on her and learned that he could heal there. And lastly, there was a man when he got back to his monastery where he lived, there was a man with arthritis there and he healed him as well. But you have to
wow.
remember, we channel in the healing. We're simply the vessel.
The conduit, yes, definitely. 1000%. Or like or like Capper.
Like electricity, right? So we're
Yeah.
just channeling it in, we're calling it in. And when we work on others, the power of the Reiki healing from source, which is pure love, it goes to where the client needs it. We do not direct it. It goes to where the client needs it.
Man, that's beautiful. Wow. So you do uh, like you attune people and then you also teach the Reiki as well. That's awesome.
Yeah, so basically, 99% of my clients have been virtual. So most of the channeled in healings and psychic messages that I give have been people all over the country and all over the world. I once in a while will get people to come to my house, which is lovely. So yeah, I do. So still doing practicing as a Reiki practitioner, as well as teaching the three students that have come to me, which speaks to energy.
Mm.
It found TikTok. So I'm also an influencer on TikTok, and I get on there and I'll give out free advice, some psychic messages, this and that. And the three students that have come to me and signed on with me are all out of state. Now I can do the training virtually, but they have to come to me in person to be attuned. So these students
Wow.
are committed. Yeah, they're committed because all three of them, when I interviewed them, because I do interview them because I respect the lineage that I'm from Barbara Ray Weber's lineage. Ray Weber was one of the 22 masters that was attuned by Hawayo Takata. So I come from a very
Wow.
special lineage. So the three things that my Reiki students who signed on with me said that I knew I could feel your energy and I knew you were the right teacher. And
That's
that's
amazing.
energy. This is how, as your podcast says, energy speaks.
I love
Okay.
it. So um let's kind of shift modes a little bit.
Mhm.
Um I'm like listening. So Originally, I was going to talk about like maybe Taurus, but what's been coming up for you energetically right here, right now? I feel like that's where we need to start.
Yeah, Pluto is in Aquarius, and we haven't seen that for 248 years since the Revolutionary War. And this is a
Yep.
really huge transformational time for all of us on the planet. This is a time when we are really going to be stepping into who we really are authentically in all ways. This is when we're going to be speaking our truth, walking our walk. It's not going to be about the 9 to 5 grind anymore. It's
Yep.
not going to be about the programming from society. This is going to be about energy. This is going to be about following our heart and letting our heart and souls guide us on what we truly should be doing in our deeper purpose on this planet. So very excited about where we are right now. Because it's people are going through a lot of roller coaster of emotions, shadow work, etc. So it's an unraveling of everything that doesn't serve us anymore. And as we fall apart, we fall together.
Amen. Something I want to share because you brought up the exact words in the order, heart and soul. So the celebration, I've decided to call it the Heart and Soul Celebration for the Zodiac Energy Empowerment Series.
I love that.
So, and
Love
so I
that.
want to share with all our audience, if you're in the Tampa Bay area, or you want to be, on Sunday, April 14th, we were going to have a large celebration, a heart and soul celebration for the Zodiac Energy Empowerment Series. We are going to have different workshops going on, and it's also another way we can connect with one another, no matter where we live on this planet. And because we have lots of people moving around. And I really do feel like in this day and age, especially right now, we're moving around. That's just what's
Yeah.
what's to come. We don't know. And I hope when I say that, I'm actually speaking from a place of excitement. Because our souls are coming online, our souls' missions are coming online as we keep walking forward. And this is going to be a gathering of those who are literally coming on to their soul's mission and say, yes, I'm here and I want to move forward. Please come. And that will be from 1:11 p.m. to 10:10 p.m. And we will have a panel. So if for some reason you're not able to make it in person, we will make it available for from 6:30 to 7:30, a little bit of extra, at the end just in case for you to connect with all of the practitioners, either they're coming on in person or online, and you can be one of those beings that are online as well, that we're gonna unite the worlds together. But i
I,
i really feel like there's so much shifting and changing that, I
mhm.
mean, like, okay, so this is what's unique, right? I like to look at Uranus in the like Uranus's journey alongside of Pluto's journey during these Pluto and Aquarius moments. The last time that Pluto was in Aquarius, did you know that Uranus was discovered?
Wow. 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 Yeah. Yeah.
and and that's the thing. It's like what's interesting is like Uranus is the leading planet of Aquarius, which is all about shaking shift up and making revolutionary change and making that change for the one, for the all, for the echad in the Hebrew. And
Mm.
it's like right now, Uranus is in what sign? Taurus. Oh, I totally brought that full circle.
I love that.
Not me too. It was just funny.
Awesome.
But that Taurus energy is helping us to connect with our heart, yes, the earth,
Mhm.
which if we look at heart and earth, they have the same letters.
They do. They do. Yeah,
And
they do.
how we ground in that gratitude and that the manifestations that we're wanting to create in this world
Mm.
got to be through the heart at this
It's got to
point.
be through the heart. It does. It does. The heart, it has to be through joy because we know that we are vibration and frequency. And that when we tune our frequency into the choice of joy and happiness and peace and harmony,
Mm,
that we're going to be able to attract because we know it's the law of attraction. When we're
yeah.
tuning our frequency into fear, which is lower, that's what we're going to attract. So right now we're having to step into really uncomfortable things in life, but we've got to know that in that discomfort, that's where we are growing. That's where we are expanding into our truth.
Mm, mm. Yes, definitely. It's interesting knowing your chart because you're Leo energy. Your Earth is an Aquarius. And so, like, you know, uh, that's like part of your mission of grounding that energy on the planet is this big unifying energy that also allows you to get into uncomfortable moments. Because if we don't have those uncomfortable moments, we can't change.
I agree. I absolutely agree. And it's funny, while I'm a Leo sun, I've always
Mm,
felt more like Taurus energy, right? And
mm,
grounding and earthing are so important to me. And in these times where things feel so chaotic and there's so much change, you might be moving, you might be breaking up in a relationship, you might be leaving your job. So many different things can be going on that the one thing we can choose to do is connect our heart to the earth through
mm.
earthing, getting our feet in the dirt. And just 10 minutes or more of that a day can absolutely shift your entire day.
Get this one. The heart of the earth, the soles of our feet.
Oh, love that. That's awesome.
That just came through. I'm like, oh, has it been there the whole time?
Yep.
Oh man, it's funny and to bring this even full circle. So the podcast that I actually did yesterday, that this one actually will come out first because it's first in line with Taurus.
Yep.
I actually had to do Virgo first because of the scheduling, and we
Yep.
spoke about I spoke about how I do this ritual in the morning that's connected, to a Jewish practice where I say Modeh Ani in the morning before I even awake, before I even like, open my eyes. But immediately do I go, to the bathroom and I wash my hands. And since we talked about
Mhm.
Reiki today,
Mm,
there's a belief system in Kabbalah that when we call back our soul, that the soul
mm,
enters through the hands.
mhm, mhm,
And then the other practitioner who is on, she says, that's interesting. I always wash my hands in the morning, and before I go to bed at night, I make sure I wash my feet.
love
And
that. That's
I
mm,
was like, I started to like, and then someone gifted me yesterday um magnesium spray, and she says, spray it on your feet before you go to bed. And I'm like,
mhm,
whoa. So it's like our hands and our feet have so many codes that we're like, I obviously the ancients really like really got this, you know? And now I feel like we're kind of coming back online to these ancient practices, you know? I mean, in some circles, like in Christianity and in Islam, they wash feet. Like that
Yeah.
can be a norm depending on what sect you're in, you know? But,
Mm,
that's not been a hugely mainstream idea, you
mm,
know?
hmm. Yeah.
Oh man. So, what is your relationship with Taurus?
Oh boy, as I say, I feel like I'm more of a Taurus, and probably the biggest reason why is because I've hiked all over the country and all over Canada by myself. And in moving to North Carolina very soon to be back in the tree energy and the mountains, it's very important to me. And right now, I go to Crescent Lake Park every day, and I walk for over an hour every day because it's a beautiful energy over there, right? You've got water, trees, you've got bird life. It's just incredible.
I love that
And
park.
so, yeah, that the Taurus energy is about our relationship with Mother Earth. And if and energetically, because we're all connected, right? And we're all one and we can feel everybody's energy no matter where we are. Okay, that our connection to earth is gonna help the planet and ourselves further expand. So this connection, and it's really a respect thing, right? Because Mother Earth loves us, nurtures us, provides us with the beautiful plants and trees, healing medicine from the earth, right? So the mushrooms and different medicines from the rainforest, she just enriches our lives in all ways. So for me, that the Taurus energy is earth energy.
Mm, I love that. You know, I kind of want to pave out like we're at Taurus in this podcast now. I want to kind of carve out the sacred space on where we've all just been in the series. Uh,
Mhm.
so I'm using a specific model where we can learn to manifest or co-create with the universe. And that's like so important, you know? And these are the steps I feel like because they're connected to numerology that Chris Witecki really discovered um through the lens of the zodiac. And like we have this kind of process that we've not necessarily always spoken out necessarily through the eyes of the zodiac. And now I feel like there's a way to even go deeper as we begin to embody these energies and we interact with them and we realize that we have all of these within us. And we started with this circle, the sacred space, which is connected to the Scorpio. And we see that with that, there is the chaos outside, the unorganized. That's literally what chaos is. It's just unorganized and it's unknown
Mhm.
energies.
Mhm.
And then we have the boundary where we say, no, but we want to organize things in here. We want it to be sacred and we want to do something with special intention. And as we make that intention, we're speaking into form whatever that is of what our intention is. And part of
Mhm.
that process is going higher. It is it is connecting with ourself to our creator and saying, creator, thank you. And I ask you to just be with me and fill me with your divine energy as the conduit, you know?
Mhm.
And then we begin to start that process because, as we were created, we have that same urge in ourselves that to want to create as well, you
Yeah.
know? And we bring in that one energy, the Leo. that first ingredient that says, what sparks my heart? What gets me
Mm.
excited?
Yeah.
You can have like we can put something like, hey, I want $1,000, for blah 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 blah. But that's a great intention. I'm just using something random.
Mm.
But the $1,000 should not be the thing that excites you necessarily. It
Mm.
should be your love of whatever excites you, right? To get into that zone, and then you'll generate that thousand,
No
because
question about it. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so
Well, I'll just
yeah,
yeah,
please.
I'll interrupt for a moment because I think this is a great point to really emphasize this.
Yeah.
When I stepped into doing what I love and loving what I do, and I detached from the money, and I did it just from a heart space, and I just put myself out there, the abundance came in all
Amen.
ways. And it not just helping the clients, then the abundance. So if you focus on the money, not what the Leo energy you're talking about is, then you're chasing it. When you're allowing your heart and to open your heart, the Leo heart, to receive it, then the universe will bring you exactly what you're supposed to be doing.
Amen. And with the two we even just spoke of, the 0 and the 1, those are the codes of the universe. And we're going to see how it comes back, because essentially we put in all these other ingredients, because numerology goes from 0 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then repeats again. 0
Mm-hmm.
is always going to be in it. And I want to like paint that picture for a moment. So when we add other ingredients into this little sacred space, the circle, we then say, all right, I have the 1, I have the love, the heart is what's beating here. And now I add the second ingredient, which is the Cancer energy, which is all about our feelings and our connection to our soul. It is the ebb and flow, it is the ritual, it is the cycles of the moon, it is that internal rhythm. And we all have a rhythm. And when we connect with the rhythm of what's going to expand our hearts and expand whatever the creative energy outside of us, or inside going to outside more so, um,
Yeah.
we start to pay attention to that. That's something that's an internal rhythm. And then we put that third ingredient in, which is the Sagittarius, which is the I believe,
Mm-hmm.
which is all about the story, right? And sometimes we have to rewrite the story to allow us to expand, because we often can tell ourselves things like, I can't get $1,000. That's too much. Well, that's not
Mm-hmm.
serving, but you also have to address it. You can't just say, why is that
Mm-hmm.
coming up? And so through Sagittarius is all about the spiritual wisdom, and really getting into that space. And we can think about Native American culture or the wisdom in our own tradition. We tap into that, the stories, the ancient wisdom telling stories. And we start to expand ourselves in our awarenesses. And that gives us the fourth ingredient, which is the Aquarius energy. And that Aquarius energy shakes shift up and allows us to get outside our comfort zone, to realize where maybe we belong and where we don't belong, most likely first. And then we shift that frequency, and now we're able to put that fifth ingredient in. And that fifth ingredient is actually opening up to communicating with the universe. All these other four ingredients, if they were in a different order, it'd be probably a little wonky. you know? And it's like you really do need the heart energy to come first, because if you put the communication first, then you're
Mhm.
still saying, wait, where'd the heart You know what I mean? And so then that comes online and we communicate clearly to the universe from the heart
Mhm.
space, from the soul space, from the expansion, and that frequency that was created through all that clearly. And then that brings us to the sixth ingredient inside, which is the Libra, which is all about the balancing, the harmonizing, and allowing ourselves to receive, which is huge. Now, what's interesting about this one is the allowing ourselves to receive is 1000% connected to the Taurus as well. Even though it's Libra energy here, Venus rules both Taurus and Libra.
Oh.
Yes, there's a co-ownership with Taurus with the Earth, you know, but we still have that connection with, and that also with Libra is allowing ourselves to receive is that attraction point.
Yeah.
And also the balancing of the heart and the mind,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
all coming in. And then that seventh ingredient is that Pisces. And that Pisces is allowing us to say, all right, we've just done all of this work. Now, what etherically, through time and space, do I need to clear to allow me to go through to my mission? And so you're
Mhm.
addressing a lot of illusion and disillusion and all of these etherical things, which brings in the concept of understanding and compassion and your senses. And that compassion is 1000% connected to the heart because it's the wisdom of the heart.
Mhm.
And it allows you to say, hey, I have compassion for myself. I have compassion for my brother or sister. And I have compassion for the process that I'm going through, because we all want things now.
Mhm.
Like it's just like part of us, and we can learn to tame that within ourselves, but oftentimes we get a little bit complacent, like when is it coming, it's so close. But
Mhm.
having compassion for that process is sometimes what we need. And then when we've completely let it go, then we start seeing things come in, the building block. That doesn't mean you're not doing the work, but you've just,
Mhm.
you've already done so much work, and you're allowing at that point to let things go. And then Capricorn comes in, and Capricorn's like, all right, we're the CEO here, we're the goat. Like, and we're making decisions, and we're making our commitments of what's best for us, what's best for the journey ahead. And then I'm building the foundation with these little stepping stones. And then Aries, I take inspired action, and that addresses the child and all of the excitement within the heart.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then we get to Taurus. That's the 10th. So it has
Mhm.
Leo in it, the one, and zero, the Scorpio, the sacred space, and the blade of grass pops through. It's the love. It is the love that we've just birthed. It's literally getting into that place of allowing ourselves to receive, but also being able to push out. And that's the thing. It's like an organic process. And it's like has to do with that rhythm, right? And so we're gathering for this beautiful class in Taurus before we get to Virgo, where we embody the energy. We have to like bring all the components together and watch it in front of us birth.
Mhm.
So I would love for you to go in a little bit deeper on our class for Taurus.
Yeah, I mean, well, we've talked about the fact that we're going to talk a lot about gratitude. And gratitude puts us in receptive mode because you see what you have created here is actually a lot of what I'm teaching. It's the journey back to loving ourselves. And when we love ourselves and we are appreciative of everything we have in our life, from our health to the food on our table to the roof over our head, that's expansion.
Mm,
And that love that we create for ourselves starts to radiate. And then not only are we creating transformation for ourselves, but when we are in contact with others, we're transforming others.
amen.
But gratitude is an enormously powerful energy and vibration. People underestimate it. When you're going through the worst of times in your life, yeah, is it hard to sometimes get into that place of gratitude? Well, of course it is. But if you can even have gratitude for the littlest of things that are showing up in your life, that's going to speak to the universe, and that's going to allow you to open up that receptor inside of you to receive more and what is for your highest and best good.
You know what just came through that I have not thought about in years? The Book of Job.
Mm.
I don't know if you remember what the Book of Job is, but it talks about a man who essentially um, was put through the worst situations, the absolute worst situations. His his wife died, his children died, like all these different, he lost everything. And the point of the book in this biblical book, right? That was actually the time frame was actually during the time of Genesis, though it's placed later. Um, so you can think about these raw energies, right? Like in regards to Genesis language. And there was like the whole point is like, will you speak badly about like your creator, you know?
Mm,
Or will you praise and joy even in the worst of times? And there is
mm,
this, of course, the villain, the accuser that
yeah.
is essentially, testing the situation, and being allowed to essentially mess with his life. And he kept going and going and giving gratitude, and he ended up with 10 times everything he had because
Mhm,
he was consistent in his core belief of his creator, and of that gratitude and that connection with our creator. And wow, like, gee, whoa, I just like I have not thought about that story in like so long. But that's like, the extreme circumstances, and people are going through those moments right here right now, you know and it's just a reminder of like, you know if you can find one good thing, that one good thing is going to attract in another good thing, and
it's a
your life can
snowball.
change.
It's a snowball effect. And the
Yeah,
Taurus energy is about the tree of life, which is on my shirt. Got it from a local store here in St. Petersburg. And so we talk about the rooting of the tree, right? And the
yeah,
rooting of the tree, and how is that tree going to grow new leaves? It's going to grow new leaves through gratitude. It's going
yeah,
to grow new leaves by shining its light. And it can only shine its light if it has gratitude, if it's creating joy, right? So
Yeah.
in the midst of the struggle, you've got to find that gratitude and find that vibration of joy along the way, because
Yeah.
you're feeling your way towards who you are and your manifestations. And the way you feel your way there is through joy. You can't do it through misery. We all think, oh, I've got to struggle. That's the only way I'm going to get to the good times. That is not necessarily true.
Right.
Even in the hardest of times, you have to find that joy, that gratitude, and that will expand everything. That's going to grow the new leaves on your tree.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was listening to have you ever heard of Brendon Bouchard?
Mm-mm.
I'm connected with a thing called Growth Day, and Brendon Bouchard is the creator of Growth Day, and he, I mean, dude is big now. Like he's friends with like Tony Robbins and Ed Milet and these super beings, which it's just, and the reason I'm saying that is because they found their rhythm. They found what lights them up, and they're able to share that largely with the world. You know, we can definitely be those beings, like that does not put a tier, like in regards to we all have that potential. And the reason I brought up Brendan Bouchard is because he talks about, in Growth Day, how important it is to, in the morning and in the evening, write down your gratitude in a journal. And that will create its own momentum. And when you start to organize that in a way, you're unlimitless.
Mm. Yeah,
Truly.
I agree. Truly, every morning I get up and I have gratitude. Throughout the day, I do. And then when I put my head down on the pillow at night, I thank my higher power for the day and whatever
Yeah.
showed up. And even whatever didn't show up, I know,
Yeah.
and it's that acceptance of where we are, knowing we are exactly where we're supposed to be as we're going through this journey, and that there's people we have to meet and cross paths because it's about the people and it's about creating that connection. And that's really what you're doing with the Zodiac series here. It's deeper connection to ourselves and then deeper connection to others through energy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. I'm really excited for our class, especially with the like just all the components, the tree of life, you know, the tree of life is really like we think about how powerful a tree is.
Mhm.
Trees can outlive us beyond,
Mhm.
you know?
Mhm.
There's the root system, the branches, the trunk, the core, and what life has gone through that being. And
Mhm.
how is that root system connected to the inner parts of the earth, that heartbeat?
Mhm.
And we think about every single time we hug a tree. I mean, I hug trees all the time. I love it. You know,
Mhm.
um, Imagine like going up to a tree and you're hugging the tree. So you're hugging the tree's energy, but all of the people who might be hugging the tree at the same time, a
Mhm.
different tree, and those roots are connected together. Or how, in different moments, how many people have hugged the tree that you're hugging at that moment? Like, it's so interconnected.
Mhm.
It's like
Mhm.
absolutely incredible. And so when we start to get on the same page, in the same rhythm, in this gratitude, you know, in our manifestations, like I'm a huge believer, especially with manifestations of helping each other manifest,
Mhm.
for each other. Like,
Oh, we do. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the synchronicities and the energy. I have a best friend in Arizona, and the synchronicities that I'm going to share in my book, people, and that I'm going to share on social media, and I haven't shared any of it yet because I'm waiting for it to be done. It's just going to be mind blowing. It's going to be
wow.
mind blowing for people, right? And we talk about the Japanese practice of forest bathing, and it's a very interesting thing to Google. And the idea of the tree energy and how healing it is, right? And being able to
Mm,
go and really, even the greatest of meditation teachers will talk about go and meditate and lean up against a tree
yeah.
because he will give you their healing rooting energy. People talk about, oh, I feel like I'm spinning, I'm distracted and I'm chasing this and that. If you can reel yourself in and feel those roots of the tree as you lean against it, and you feel that love of Mother Earth under you, embracing you, holding you, nurturing you when you need it. Even if you're feeling loved by your family, you need some time by yourself, and you're just feeling that love of grounding and that love from the earth and that connection to nature and listening to the birds and feeling the wind in your face, touching the bark of the tree as
Mm.
you meditate. You connect more deeply with yourself and the planet and your higher self and your angels and your ancestors and your ascended masters, right? That's the connection. People say, well, what is my deeper purpose? It will come to you organically, it will come to you.
Yeah.
And you'll know because it's going to touch a space in your heart that's never been touched before.
And it's going to want you to take inspired action. Like
Inspired that.
it's so
Mm-hmm.
deeply in you that you can't not do it.
Mm-hmm.
Go forward, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And also this is an invitation right now as, we are coming online, to our soul mission as we talked about earlier. If something comes to you and you're like, "Ah, I can't do that," or I don't, I, that just sounds nuts or whatever. You know what? I would rather have tried something and it
Yes.
fail miserably than to not try at all.
But there's no such thing as failure, Catriel.
Exactly.
When something doesn't grab, when that door doesn't open, it was not meant for you. So if you're not getting the job, getting the house, or getting something that you really desire, you have to have gratitude. Thank you, my higher source. Thank you, Creator. Thank you, Hashem. That wasn't meant for me. And thank you for showing me that.
Yeah. But yeah. Wow. This is gonna be powerful.
It's going to be
I
really
also
good.
I want to share our class time with
Okay,
everyone.
sure.
Oh, that's easy. April Fool's Day, guys.
Yeah.
Our class is going to be should we reveal the secret yet or no? Later?
Yeah. I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be here.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure. I want to check in. So,
Yeah.
like I said at the very beginning, Lisa is our online practitioner in person as well because we are going to offer on April Fool's Day, of course, a way for both online and in-person beings to join this beautiful meditation process and as well as gratitude circle for the series. And it is $22. It's from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. right? That's correct. Yep, got it. Eastern Standard Time, even though I was looking at someone else's in my journal. And you can find all of the information on energyspeaksbycatriel.com. You can find out more on how to connect with Lisa on there. And if you want to say your website as well.
Oh, sure. Yes. To connect with me, I'm very easy to connect with www.lisabromfield.com. And you just text me. It's very easy to get a hold of me.
And we'll have that link in the chat below as well. Well, like when I have it up on YouTube or Spotify or whatever those things are. And you can connect with her. And again, if you like completely were like, wait, what? You can go to energyspeaksbycatriel.com, go to the online practitioner, like the online part of the series, and you can find her under the practitioners. She will be second to last on the bottom. You can find out more about our class at the very bottom of the page as well. And you can go to events and you can sign up for the class, which will tell you all about the event. So there's multiple ways of navigating the website, which is super cool. And also, I have what is the Zodiac Energy Empowerment Series journal. So if you feel so inclined, this is a beautiful way to track your journey. And it it has questions, prompts for every part of the series, both online track and in person. And you can get that on Amazon for $22. And it's just a really good way to write down your thoughts, keep them, and refer back to them because we are repeating this series for the second half of the year and probably until I'm guided not to. And this is a really good way to really like track your journey. And, it's kind of like in sales, they say that the only way you're going to like thrive in sales is if you call the person back, right? Those callbacks. The same thing in regards to our life and moving forward. Our journals can move us forward so easily if we have one and we use it and we keep it with us and we refer to it back because like it's giving us codes. I can't tell you how many times I've looked back at a journal and I said, "Oh my God, I did that. Oh my gosh." Or, "Oh my goodness, I haven't done that. That really resonates for this time and place now, you know?
Mhm.
And it gives me inspiration and I move forward." What about you?
Yeah, I find journaling is a great way. First of all, the energy when you're journaling, I always recommend you do it pen to paper because the energy is coming through your body, through your arm, through your hands, to the pen, to the paper. The idea is, we all get into our heads once in a while. So journaling just allows you to get the kind of the messiness out on the paper, and it's cathartic. And so you're getting it all out. And after you get through it, you get more clarity. So it's a really good process. And some people do it every day or as a regular practice, some don't, but it's a lovely practice because it really can reveal a lot to you. And then when you flip back on it, you're like, oh my goodness gracious, that's where I was. Here's where I am. And I think so many times people think, I've got to make this huge progress. But
Yeah.
it isn't that way. It's like these little steps of saying, well, gee, that's where I was a week ago. Look where I am now. And it's just those little shifts in energy that are taking you towards who you are.
Amen. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So, on that note, sorry. I want to say thank you so much, Lisa, for being here on Energy Speaks
Yes,
podcast,
of
being a part of
course.
this series. It truly means so much. And
Absolutely.
I really can't do this. I can't have this fun without my practitioners. Um,
Mhm.
it's set up in the way of us all, connecting with each other. And I also can't do this without you guys who are listening. Like, we're all in this together, like on this planet, in the series beyond and between. And I want to say thank you for listening. And if you feel so inclined that you like this podcast, please share it with someone. It could bless their day. It really could.
Definitely.
And remember, again, our Heart and Soul celebration, April 14th on a Sunday, whether you're in person or online, look for those details on the events page of energyspeaksbycatriel.com. So that is all for today's episode. I want to say thank you again. I love you
Thank
all,
you,
divine, beautiful
Katriel.
souls.
Love you all.